Hello everyone, we are in Quechee, Vermont, but we are on our way to show you guys some really fun stuff. Headed to the Calvin Coolidge Presidential Homestead, Birth Site, Museum, History Center. Super awesome, but whenever we are in Vermont and wind up this way, kind of working our way towards Woodstock and on to Plymouth Notch, we stop here because there is this really awesome antique store and they've got alpacas, they've got food, they've got all kinds of stuff. We'll give you guys a little look. So you can see here, Quechee, Vermont. And they are more famously known for the Quechee Gorge, really beautiful spot. I am super terrified of heights, so there's not a place that I necessarily stop, though you have to drive over it. See if we can get some footage of that in a bit, but they have the super awesome big antique mall slash restaurant slash gift shop slash everything, and it's a really fun spot. It looks like they've got a flea market going today too. So all right, well, you know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I didn't personally find any treasures at the flea market portion of what they have going on today, but we will head in and see what else they have to offer. Okay, more interested in this. He says it's an old generator. I would look at that thing and go, is that a giant sewing machine? I would have never known that was a generator. How old is that?
Like late 1800s.
Oh. So it's old. You know what I honestly thought? I thought it was like a funny yard art thing of like a giant sewing machine at first. Souvenir stuff in this section. I find that way funnier than it should be. I kind of love that. Now we're in the alpaca shop. They have lots of beautiful things made out of alpaca. So soft. Very smart alpacas hanging out where it's cool. Oh, they're so cute. Yeah, normally they're out here hanging out and you can feed them and they get really close and they're really sweet, but they're like not interested in visiting hours right now. They're just really trying to stay cool. I don't blame them. He's disappointed. He loves feeding his friends. It says Segway tours. And fun fact, the person who invented the Segway from New Hampshire. Llama print, llama print. Alright, so we got lots of local goods in here. Antiques galore in here, but it's hard to film because there's tons of people. I've never seen it this busy. Oh, here's a little section where there's not people. But yeah, this is a huge antique mall. I don't really have time to like explore it too much today because we got to get back on the road and show you guys other stuff, but it is a really fun place to stop. I mean, we've even came and just made this our destination, so, which you totally could. You could spend a long time in this place. It's pretty cool. I like this piece of art they have out here. Kind of reminds me of Oregon though. Now when you think of Vermont, you might think of hippies and patchouli oil and Bernie Sanders, and you would not be wrong. That's what I think too. But within all of that, Vermont also has some really beautiful spots, awesome nature, hiking, lakes, rivers, and gorgeous towns. Some of them quite affluent. Some more down homey. They've got Burlington, which is their big city, which isn't big, but it's big for Vermont standards. But we are in Woodstock now, and this is a beautiful, I would say it would fall more under the affluent category. But we found an antique store, so we're gonna head in. All right, well, the guy who owns that place is super nice. So he lives there and just opens up the bottom portion with his antiques that he sells. I guess it's an interesting way of doing it, but he sent us here next door. He said this is a large shop, so we'll see what they've got. We'll not be bringing this one home. I totally want this though. That is so cool. I think we should make our 22 and 17-year-olds play on this. Super nice lady at this one. Much more normal antique store. There's a pretty house, 1847. Hi guys. Okay, I'm super excited to be back here, and Kay has never been here. It's been a few years actually. I brought the kids when they were younger, and really enjoyed it. This is an awesome site because I'm getting attacked by bugs. It incorporates things that were here when Calvin Coolidge grew up, his birthplace / place where he was sworn in as president, an education center, carriage house, like all kinds of stuff you guys will see. Calvin Coolidge was born here in 1878, and at first he was called John Calvin Coolidge, named after John Calvin, but they dropped the John. Kind of funny, I guess they had a change of mind and just called him Calvin. Super underrated president in my opinion. He was amazing. One of the things that really was his claim to fame, or what he was known for, was being very small government, and he was a stand-up guy. He had a really lovely wife named Grace Coolidge. He had a pet raccoon named Rebecca. I mean, he was interesting. They called him a silent cow, but I never thought that name was fair. I'm going to prove to you guys why. So let's go. You know, the other thing is he didn't really mean to get the presidency this way. It was because Warren G. Harding passed away while he was out touring around. I think he was in Northern California, maybe San Francisco, if my memory serves me right. And then Calvin he happened to be here visiting his family when that happened, so his father actually swore him in, and I will show you the place in a minute where that happened. We're headed now towards the Education Visitor Center to buy tickets, check out the gift shop, and then we will do the full tour of everything. Super excited to be back here. I want to say that yesterday the unimaginable, unthinkable, horrendous thing happened, and President Trump there was an assassination attempt on his life. And we were, talking about it a lot last night, this morning, everything. We're thinking about the presidency and respecting the presidency, and that's kind of what I was like, we haven't been to Coolidge's in a long time, and you've never been here, so that was kind of like part of the motivation for coming today. Just kind of thinking about those things and remembering, and I thought, what a great thing this would be to bring you guys to today and talk about, Coolidge. He was a really good one. So again, super stoked to be here. And we are smack dab in the middle of Vermont in the mountains, a little over 2 hours from where we live on the New Hampshire seacoast. But really easy, beautiful drive all the way around. And you can see mountains. Not that much else. I was actually at the store yesterday when I got the call from my son, and he told me way before anybody knew, because he's got some insider scoop, and he told me what had happened to President Trump, and I was like totally freaked out. Couldn't really shop anymore. I'm like, I can't be like Ulta looking for shampoo. I'm like, I can't buy shampoo right now. Like, I need to go home. And yeah, it just kind of spurred this whole crazy thing. But we've been doing a lot of discussing and thinking and reflecting, and we're glad he's okay, and we're happy to be here celebrating Calvin Coolidge. Okay, so apparently now they've changed the way they do things, and we have to go around with a docent from place to place, but the store tour starts in about 15 minutes. So we'll go around the museum and stuff here, and then we'll meet up with them, and that's when we'll be going to all the historic sites. And here is the lamp. You can see it in that painting that lit the way at 2:47 a.m. when he was administered the oath of office. And there is the Bible that Calvin Coolidge placed his hand on to become president of the United States of America. So amazing. Oh, I also want to tell you guys, so Calvin Coolidge was the only president to be born on the 4th of July. James Monroe died on the 4th of July, and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both died on the 4th of July the same year, within hours of each other. But Calvin Coolidge was actually born on the 4th of July, which I think is kind of amazing. So this was a hasty process. He was sworn in at 2:45, 2:40, what did it say exactly? I want to get this right. Okay, 2:47 a.m. Wow. And by 7:30 in the morning, he and his wife Grace had had breakfast, got up, and they were on their way to DC. There was no messing around. Oh, you guys, the other thing is that this is not technically his presidential library museum. This is his historic site, birth site, boyhood home. His library is a very funky setup. It's inside of an actual public library in Northampton, Massachusetts. I've been there. Very strange experience. It's pretty cool. We should take you guys there. He's never seen it yet either, and it's quite the thing because we've been to presidential libraries all over, gorgeous ones like Washington's and Lincoln's and Ronald Reagan's and Nixon's and, you know, things like that. We have JFK's in Boston. But Coolidge's library is literally like a library inside of a library. They have artifacts and things, but it's not like a grand presidential library, but it is part of, see, there's like a group that makes you an official part of like the Presidential Libraries of America, and it is technically part of it, even though it's very, very, very down home. Aw, cute. You can tell he was a nice young man. You know, people say like Silent Cal and that he was so serious and stuff. Well, yeah, he was serious about being a good guy. Oh, I mean, the other thing is, I want to tell you guys about his political. So the other thing that's really neat and unique about Calvin Coolidge, well, unique, similar to John Quincy Adams, his career path that he followed. So he started off on the lowest levels, like he was like mayor, then he was selectman, then he was in the legislature, state senate, Congress, vice president, and eventually presidency. But he worked for years and years as a public servant, serving in that capacity, knowing that politics was a good way for him to affect change in this country and serve the greater good. I wouldn't call him a career politician.
If I had permitted my failures, or what seemed to me at the time a lack of success, to discourage me, I cannot see any way in which I would ever have made progress.
Nice little gift shop here. Love this. I'm really into presidential slogans and mottos and stuff, and it's such a cool one. It's so 1920s. It's great.
In life.
See, I told you. They had a raccoon named Rebecca. That's no joke. And they gave like parties to her, and she went everywhere. She went in the carriage, and the kids loved her. I'm telling you, they say Silent Cal, but this dude was fun, and Grace was fun too. Interesting that both James Garfield and Warren Harding were born in Ohio and were replaced by their VPs that were both from Vermont, Calvin Coolidge and Chester Arthur.
United States, according to the United States government. And the reason I say it, you can go to Hyde Park, you could go to a lot of other presidential sites, you could go to a site not very far from here that my friend Newt oversees, and Rick Kendall, the Rockefeller Center, and also the St. Gaudens. But if you walk into the buildings, you'll see, oh, well, we've got an office here, and this furniture here, we changed this room to look like this instead of like that, and not here. Everything is exactly the way it was when Calvin Coolidge was alive and in office. He would recognize everything. The Florence Silly store, that's the original sign. She was the person that actually owned the store when he was sworn into office in 1923. That sled and that carriage. That older gentleman who's kind of buff, his name is Colonel John Coolidge. That's Calvin's father. All right? So as an historian, when you look around here, you may see little stuffed animals that are up on the...
Rebecca.
Yes, okay. We've hidden 5 Rebeccas around the site. The kids love it. And it's, I will not have anyone bored on my watch.
No, that's awesome.
Which is great. Now the newest vehicle in here is right behind me. That's a 1923 Model 4T. You can buy it in any color you want, as long as it's black. $580. Okay? I won't talk about any of the other ones. I'll let you guys peruse the barns after I'm done.
Okay.
But I do want to go into the next barn here. That is the bed Calvin was born in. It is a rope bed. You've heard the term sleep tight. You tighten the ropes so the mattress wouldn't sag.
Yep.
That is John and Victoria. There are their pictures Calvin's dad and mom. Settee cradle, they are still produced in Boston. There's many examples of that.
That's great.
Place here has been frozen in time with Calvin. By the way, that is the saddle. That is the blanket.
Mm-hmm.
That is the carriage. And that is the sled that I showed you the pictures of in the barn.
Yeah.
I'm going to close this a little bit. Furniture, $100 Vermont item. We all know the body of government that the vice president oversees, presides over, is the
Senate.
Senate, right. And your first name?
Caleb.
Caleb. And Caleb, would you agree with me that all senators live harmoniously, arm in arm and hand in hand, just like you and I are standing here? Yeah, Carl, what are you
Definitely
drinking?
not.
Can I have some? Well, they didn't in Calvin's time too. They fought like cats and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And Calvin writes, the Senate is in session. 2 senators are in contentious debate over an issue. Doesn't say what parties they're with. He doesn't say what the issue is. You know, it's just 2 senators fighting with each other. And one senator looks at the other senator crimson-faced and shakes his finger and says, "Go to hell." And the senator on the receiving end, if I can use that term, paraphrasing,
Mm-hmm.
says, he just told me to go to hell. What are you going to do about it? Calvin said he thought, looked down, and casually paged through the Senate rulebook. I think that the key word is casually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing here that tells me he can't tell you that, sir. However, I'm familiar with the Constitution, the laws of this land, and you, sir, are not required to go there. That's Calvin Coolidge.
See? Not exactly silent, just thoughtful.
No.
Thoughtful.
But Calvin was thoughtful.
And now in the cheese factory. A very, very Vermont. The cheese museum. Which I like aged cheddar. Aging the cheddar makes it naturally lactose free, which is a concept I can definitely live with. How fun is it, by the way, you guys, that these people, you know, people with presidential pets, they had a freaking raccoon. I hope I proved to you guys that Silent Cow, not a fair moniker. Cheese making in New England began when the Pilgrims arrived at Plymouth in the 1620s. They brought the skill to Vermont in the 1700s. Initially, they made cheese for their own consumption. Farmhouse cheese was a major type in New England for more than 200 years. Coolness. And here's what they would use to press the cheese and to get those nice big wheels. And this says it's an original. And you know. And Kay was just mentioning that they actually sell that Plymouth cheese at one of our local grocery stores, and yeah. So it's a well-known historic type cheddar. And just down the road from where we just were at the Heritage Site Museum birthplace is his final resting place. I remember when we came here a few years ago with the kids, they were struck at how unassuming it is. But I've seen a lot of presidents' graves now, and they're definitely all different. Some are unassuming. But it is a beautiful, quiet spot just down from where he was born. This is the, it comes up in GPS as Plymouth Notch Cemetery. This is kind of crazy if you notice. Born in 1906, died in 2000. That's impressive. We've got more of the Coolidges.
Julius Caesar.
Hmm?
Julius Caesar. Son of Calvin and Sarah.
That's an interesting name choice. Okay.
Luther Coolidge. Then you get up into the old cemetery. That's tough.
So if they said old John, they'd have to be like, which which one?
There's a Weidler. Like he was talking
Oh
about.
yeah. That lived in town. It kind of reminds me of Theodore Roosevelt's, like how he's on the hill in kind of a nondescript cemetery near his home. It is interesting the way that different presidents' lives are shown in the modern day. Having the little village there. I mean, we're really in like the middle of nowhere, Vermont. And the grave here and all the home sites and the museum center. It's not grand by any means. You guys saw, like, what I showed you is what it is, but so nicely presented and befitting of the area and of his simple upbringing. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, if you go to President Lincoln's library in Springfield, state of the art, like technology, hands-on stuff for kids, giant wax figures, big rooms. Same thing with a lot of them. Reagan Library, very impressive. They've got Air Force One, tons and tons of rooms of artifacts, and they do special exhibits there. You could spend all day at that one. But nonetheless, a very cool site for a much underappreciated president. Decided to stop back in Woodstock on our way home because the night is still young and it's still super hot and sunny out. It doesn't get dark till late, and I thought I would show you guys some more, and we're just gonna take a little walkabout. And here we have a memorial to the Revolutionary War soldiers who were from Woodstock that went and fought. Now, every time I'm in Woodstock, I say that it is a Hallmark movie town. Really, like, I think one of the most Hallmark movie looking places that you could find anywhere. This section also always kind of reminds me of Stars Hollow, Gilmore Girls. It just has that look, the quintessential look. I know, I've said it before, everything's cute, everything's got the look, but I'm not wrong. And listen to those church bells. We like coming here actually in the winter. It's gorgeous with snow. You guys subscribe, and that way you will be updated and you'll see when we do come here in the snow. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Such beautiful buildings, architecture. It's really almost like a movie set. I mean, really, truly, like, this place is Hallmark movie written all over it. Wait till you see in the winter, I'm telling you. This is sort of the main drag here. And this was like 25 minutes from the Coolidge site, so not too far if somebody wanted to come, and there's some nice hotels and inns around. If somebody wanted to come and stay, there's lots you could do around here. Now, if there's anything that we don't like, which we like most things about New England, but one thing we don't understand or get, and we've lived other places. I mean, we used to live in Dallas, Texas. Things are open very, very late. Grew up in Los Angeles. Things are open late. Even in the Pacific Northwest where we live, things are open late. But
On a Sunday evening?
in the summer, like we want to like go, like we might buy something, we might eat something, we might want to, like everything is closed. And this is
At 6 p.m.
at 6 p.m. Like everything closes. And some places close earlier, and some places a lot. It's very common in New England for things to be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, or vice versa, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday even. Like even in busy places. It's the one critique. It's the one thing that I don't want to get used to and don't really like. It's the whole sleepy New England thing. Kind of true. It's real, right? Don't
Completely
you?
real.
Yeah, completely real. Like we both feel like, oh, like, and we're night people. You know, he's a morning person too. I am not, but definitely a night person. And I like being out this time of day. It's nice. But what happens if it's frustrating. Because I'll like walk by a window and, oh, there's something nice in there. Can't go in. It's closed. In the summer, I can get winter, given the weather here. I could get off season, whatever. But like, come on. So that's my one thing. It's on this cute little area. Vermont really, it is beautiful. It is. Even if there's hippie and patchouli oil and all that stuff, and there is. It's really, really beautiful. And it's chill. Okay, I'm not done griping. So like even Starbucks in Dallas, Texas. I used to go to Starbucks till like 1 a.m. Here, oh no, a lot of them close at 6. Like, what is that? And dessert places. Dessert places close early. Dessert is for after dinner, right? I mean, it could be for breakfast too, but like, what's with that? I mean, sometimes you want something sweet at night. Oftentimes I do, unfortunately. Can't get it. Restaurant, closed. See? Even restaurants. Like, I know this is not Los Angeles and I know this is not Dallas, but it's like a place people come and it's summer. It's just weird. There's literally only one place in the entire town for food that is still open. See, like the store looks cool and I love that shirt. But, oh, they were closed today altogether. Okay, well, if they're closed on a Sunday, I can't like fault them for that. That I get completely. But other stores just being closed. Oh, they've got some cool stuff. Okay, another reason to come back. And as if it didn't have the look already, it's got a gorgeous covered bridge to top it all off. Last time I was here, there was a ton of snow. I've been in the fall too. That's, you can imagine, gorgeous. And I have no idea why there's a bunch of little
Crazy cat lady.
weird things. People are leaving here. Must be some sort of a thing. Okay, I have no idea. I don't know if it's like official, like did the town or did school kids, no, school's not in. I don't know, leftover? People just did it, it's just a thing they do. What the heck? Creepy ladybug lady. I have no idea. Weird. Weird. Somebody what?
I don't know what fancy this is.
I'm gonna moonwalk back to you. What is it?
Oh, some kind of tan. It's in Spanish. I don't read it.
Pesos, quetzals? What is
Some
it?
pesos. I don't know what it is.
Oh, come to that is not Spanish. That is not. That is something, but not Spanish. In not any Spanish-speaking place. Do you guys know what that is? See that? The prettiest small town in America. So I'm not alone in this thinking. And those church bells you guys heard? Cast by Paul Revere. I don't know how I didn't know that. I'm sure I've read this before. I don't know. Brain farts. And this is the Quechee covered bridge, kind of finishing off in Quechee where we started. So the last time we were here, we couldn't walk down to this part because it was solid snow and ice. There was literally icicles coming off the bottom of the covered bridge there and ice chunks flowing down the river. It was beautiful, but for reason, oh, and it was windy, like crazy wind chill. It looked amazing, but it was, I remember it was so cold. Today, super hot.
Friendly.
It's so angry looking. That's why the Romans, when they tried to invade Scotland, said, we're done here. These people are tall, ginger haired, and they have plants that poke us. And they never took Scotland. See? This thing was ice alert last time we came. And this, 1000% true. Oh, Vermont, you are so beautiful.
Like Patrick Henry, I know no way of judging the future but by the past. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
They mean like jumping up and down, right? Oh, flower of Scotland.
¿Qué es esto? What is it?
I smell patchouli.